Win-win. It's been a win-win since day one.
I was like the kid that needed extra help and went and did testing in the smaller rooms and stuff like that.
Since we've been here, agents have been making way more, twice as much money they have.
I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Everybody here makes $100,000 a month. They're just not going to pick it up.
And it goes back to the power of belief.
All right, but back in those days when you see a really pretty girl, you're like, let me get her phone number. Now it's like, oh, that's a billionaire. I need his phone number.
You're only as great as the people that surround you.
So how did that compare? Decided to go from Lincoln to come and working with me.
There was a lot of fear.
Was it transition? Because a teacher, you're giving up $30,000 a year. Lincoln, you're giving up $400,000 a year. Was it with the same fear or was it more?
Goes to deposit over 29 plus thousand in a bank account in 1 month.
You want to say her name?
No.
No? Welcome to my show of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, where we hear from regular people who got tired of living their ordinary lives and were not afraid to make that jump.
You gotta be different. You can't be doing what everyone else is doing. You gotta create action. You gotta create momentum. So I'm looking for demand and I'm looking for mentorship because I wanted to know everything my mentor knew.
People who are just like you and me. Hey, my name is David Price. Here's another episode of Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things. Please, if you like our content, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell to give you a notification every time we have a new video. Put some stuff in the comments. Let us know what you want to see, and let us know that you like what you're seeing so we keep making more of it. So today I have a very special guest. Drove in from Mississippi. We got Mr. Donaldo Harris. Good morning.
Great morning. Great morning. How are you, sir?
Good. How's everything, man?
Amazing. No complaints, man. Just loving life. Woke up this morning, 6 feet above ground. That's the great part.
That's it, man. We're already winning, right? It's like my eyes open. It's like winning. I get another one. I get another day.
That's how we do it every day, man.
Awesome. So you drove in from Mississippi. How was that?
I was good, man. Just different things, just to be with the group, man. It was lovely. I had a lot of exciting things. Stopping, had a couple, we as men sometimes got to do extra stops. Stopping, get some food. But it was a great drive, man. Great drive till we got to the traffic. And then the traffic happened, so.
That was Tampa?
Yeah, like right outside of the turnpike. That's where a lot of things happened at. But, I'm going to tell you a funny story. Even in that process, we were driving. And we were looking, I had the GPS on and said, man, we're like an hour. No, it was 2 hours. They said 2 hours before you can drive 120 miles. So the young lady, we're about the power of belief. So the young lady to me says, I'm so happy and grateful now that it's only going to take us an hour to get there. And I'm like, okay. So we go, start driving faster, and then we come up to the roadblock. And I said, did you really believe it? No, she said, I should have wrote that down. I said, no, let me ask you a question. Did you really believe it? She said, yeah, I really believed it. Next thing you know, we drive and the GPS says, oh, take this route and cuts it down to an hour. Again, the power of belief, man. Power of belief.
That's all. So that's the thing. I mean, since the day I met you, you've been talking about the power of belief. And I've been watching it and I mean, obviously, like belief's the real thing. I've talked about like Peter Pan and the pixie dust, and like I can put the pixie dust on you, but if you don't believe you're gonna fly, you're not gonna fly, right? The belief is important. So we'll definitely get into that. But let's talk about let's go back. I know you started your personal or your professional career in education,
right?
As a teacher. Yes. So how did that start, and what made you decide you want to be a teacher? Bring us back to the old days, man.
You taking me back. So, the weird part is 2006, matter of fact, had met my wife at that time. She was in education already. We were about to buy a home in Virginia. Had did all the paperwork, did everything, and said, oh, let's go visit some friends in Florida. We go to Florida Drive, and I said, man, let's talk to our friends. They were in education. So she goes and do an interview, and we go into a school. And because I have a degree in mathematics, these young ladies were on the computer and they were struggling with the math work. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not getting involved. But then knowing me, I go over there and show them how to do it, right? So I walk out of the building and the next thing the two little young girls come running outside. Can you please come back and help us be a teacher here? And it just melted me because I didn't bring any clothes to interview, didn't want to interview, but they said, man, we really need you. And that's how I started my path into education. We're actually working in alternative education, kids who were struggling, kids who basically have dropped out of school, who wanted to get their life back together. And it actually worked well for me. Coming from being the youngest of 8 kids, I understood trying to take the path to go to the next level. So that's how it started.
That's awesome. I actually have a special place in my heart for teachers that work with that, because I was like the kid that needed extra help and went and did testing in the smaller rooms and stuff like that. So, and I have some teachers, Mr. Philippone, Miss Kratz. So I have some teachers that did play a special interest in me. And like I remember them, and they definitely helped me get through high school as a regular person and graduate and everything like that, because sometimes it's hard, right? Things are hard, and you understand that because you're helping them.
It takes that one-on-one. There's nothing wrong. See, I believe that everybody has the gift inside of them. We just have to find a way to get it out. And so even in education, every student don't learn the same. I used to tell my teachers, if a student needed to come and lay on the floor to learn, let them lay on the floor. It doesn't matter how they get it, as long as they get the information. But we're so rigorous sometimes in the education system, we have to sit in a chair. And a lot of kids don't learn that way. If kids need to stand up in the corner, give them what they need. They need one-on-one help, give them what they need. Our job is to bring the best out of the kids.
So first off, I want to apologize. The introduction should have been a lot more. Last month, you had your best month ever.
Right.
I believe it was $327,000 in issued business.
Yeah, somewhere in $328, $329,
almost $330,000
Yeah,
in issued business in a single month.
Right.
That's what, your fourth month with me?
Fourth full month.
Fourth full month.
Right.
So that's absolutely crushing it. I don't know. I've never heard of anyone do that anywhere else, right? And not in 4 months. Going from one company to another company is always going to be a little bit challenging.
Especially when you lose 90%.
90%.
At least 90.
So you had about 10% come over.
Yes, 10%.
Luckily, they're running a lot more than they did there.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Win-win. It's been a win-win since day one. Being able to connect with you, someone who understands the industry. Man, the team has grown. I'm a firm believer, man. Just, everybody has a place, different places. Nothing wrong with where we came from. Love the company, love everything about them. But I think sometimes different situations bring the best of other people. And so since day one, people who were not making the income they were making in the previous company has almost doubled. We got people crushing it. And I mean, since we've been here, agents have been making way more, twice as much money they have. Had a couple people who just earned 50 grand in bank account. Had one that did it in 3 months. Have another, the new one just did it in 4 months. So it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing to lock arms with a company that loves the people, who care about the people. But more importantly, I think a lot of it has to do with the organization. And that's been a great part, to be able to lock with the Price Group, man. I think that's what a lot of it had to do with, right? You?
Hey, I'm not going to argue with that. I appreciate you choosing us, right? Because, the truth of the matter is you weren't doing bad before.
Right.
And what I like about your story is that you were doing great, right?
Doing
you're
okay.
making $500,000 a year.
Yeah, I was up
great.
to $400,000.
$400,000 a year, right? Most people will be like, $400,000 a year. I've made it. Life's good. I'm on autopilot now, because really you're making $400,000 a year on autopilot.
Absolutely.
Right. But you decide your vision was a lot bigger. And what I love is when I talk to you, the vision wasn't about you. Right? Because you're very limited in what states you're able to hire people in.
Yes, in my previous
right?
company, yes.
You had this whole country, but you can only hire people in 4 states, right? And you had family that weren't in those 4 states.
Yes.
And you don't want to be the one making $400K by yourself. You want to get your family involved, and you want to be able to reach more people and help more people. So that's why I liked every time we had a conversation, I guess when I was being interrogated, right? Trying to figure out if I was the one.
If you were the one, right.
You were always focused on other people. You're always focused on what could I offer my agents more, or my agents gonna have a better opportunity here, or my agents gonna make more money, or are they gonna be having the same headaches they were having, and the same reason same complaints you were getting in the past. But more importantly, can I help people outside my 4 states?
I think that was the driving force. As you said, I was on autopilot financially. Was doing okay. Humble beginnings, youngest of 8 kids. So family, 6 girls, my brother and me. And when we came to the point, man, I was doing well financially, but here's the truth. I had a older daughter. I have an older daughter. I'm trying to kill them off already. But I have an older daughter and I had a son. And their thing, they wanted to be in insurance with me. And so the plan was for my daughter and my son to move to Mississippi, work with us. Where I lost my son. Tragic accident happened, man. I think everything is timing in God's will. So, that's God's timing. But my daughter wanted to work with me. She ended up having a baby. Having to take care of her mom. And I had to make a huge decision. At that moment, it was not about money. Because like you said, I was on autopilot. But I wanted to find a way to get my child involved. I wanted to find a way to get my family members involved. Because most of my family lived on the East Coast. Even though I'm in Mississippi, they was on the East Coast. And it was sleepless nights. Sleepless nights because, I had to make a decision of everything being stopped. Going from 400,000 back to zero. So, it was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of things. You crazy? Is something wrong? But at that moment, I said, is it really about me? And I said, no, it's really about making sure I put my children and my family in a better situation. Because there's we say we want to leave again an inheritance for our kids and family. And so it was important to me to make sure that I was putting myself in the right environment if I was going to make this move. Making sure that it was had looked at other companies, the structure of them and all these things. But I wanted to make sure it was an environment that we weren't really making a huge shift, but also making sure we was joining somebody who still had a hunger to them that wanted to go to the next level. So after me and my wife prayed about it, did a lot of things, totally walked away from 400K to start back at zero. But see, I believe when you make something from the heart and God's involved in it, things are going to happen. And really, man, what we thought became better, greater. I know you probably had some worries at first.
Of course, man. I want you to be successful,
right,
man.
Some things and, knowing that even I told you that the decision made, laying it on the line, that not everybody's going to move. Everybody doesn't shift because, here's the truth about it. Everybody does not have the vision that God has given you. And when God gives you a vision sometime, I don't really understand why people go asking everybody else. He gave it to you. And so when he gave it to us, me and my wife, we said, okay, it's time. Some feelings was probably hurt. People thought we betrayed them. But it wasn't about them. It was about saving my family. I had a leader who saved his family, and I wanted to do the same. He saved his family, and he showed me. And so I wanted to save my family. And so we made the move, man. And it's been like firecrackers and fireworks going off everywhere. We're seeing success. We're seeing people excited, seeing people happy, man. Things are happening for people that they've never had a chance. Just seeing people, lifestyle changes. People paying their bills on time now. They used to couldn't even pay bills. People being able to help their moms and family members that they never have been able to do before. And that's the lovely part to me, that I'm seeing deposits like crazy, like deposit. So we have this like joke all the time. Who has a deposit today? Who got their belief check? We call it belief checks. And that's the great part about it.
So how's it feel to get those daily deposits? It used to be weekly, right?
Oh yeah, it used to be weekly for me. Yeah, daily is, yeah. It's like you're sitting there like on the edge of the chair.
Yeah.
And it's been great, man. But again, it's not even about me as a leader. If any leaders listening, it's the people you can help. That they can now pay their bills every day. They can get an everyday deposit, even from that standpoint, but even larger deposits.
Yeah, I tell you, this business has been a huge blessing to me and the freedom I've been able to have. And, I've dealt with some adversity with some close family members passed away recently. Just had Hurricane Ida come in, Hurricane Ian come in, and just a ton of things, right? And just being have the freedom, like, oh, there's a hurricane coming. Let me get out of here. Now we just this morning loaded up a whole Jeep full of supplies. That's why I was running a little later this morning, because we just sent the whole Jeep down to an American Legion where they're out there feeding people. So we sent some supplies, and when I leave here Friday, we'll bring more stuff, and just swipe the credit card. You know what I mean? I don't have to think, well, who's paying, or let me get a donation, or this and that.
Absolutely, man.
We got some donations. We spent all that, and the rest comes from my credit card. So, Just the freedom this business gives you is amazing. And I wish, and you're gonna know, you never know what I'm saying already. How do we get more people to believe, right, and go all in so they could receive the benefits, that are there? And I was thinking about something the other day, and it's like, oh, well, Dave's okay. Dave makes $100,000 a month. He's okay. It's like I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Everybody here makes $100,000 a month. They're just not going to pick it up.
Listen. You couldn't have not said that any better, and it goes back to the power of belief. It really does. See, in anything in life, here's the truth. If you really want to understand, 90 to 100% of success is in the spiritual realm, and we're not talking religion. Then 1 to 10% of success is in the physical realm. So what is the spiritual realm? Our thought process. Do we see things? Do we have our imagination running? Because this is what we talk to the team about all the time. Why most people struggle, because they don't imagine the person they desire to be. If you really sit down and say, this is the person I want to be, and you followed it, you'll become that person. The problem with most people, they stop believing. They stop imagining that situation. Remember when you was a kid running around the house with your cape on? I want to be Superman. You imagine that you were really flying, jumping off of beds. Well, we stopped dreaming. Most people stop dreaming. Most people stop doing things. And then the power of belief, it talks about the people you're around. Who are you around? Because your circle determines a lot of things. And then in business, this is what happens with most agents. You want to sit out by yourself. You want to do things by yourself. And that's the thing about being here at the Price Group. The culture is different. We build a culture where people are around everybody. You have support. You're not on the island by yourself. This is what I'll say about the Price Group. We're not like anybody else. We're original. So you're not going to find it out here with most other places. We have that. Then there's the environment that we create. Man, how many people have a Zoom where virtual call people from the comforts of your home, Zoom outfits. I always say the Zoom, you look good from the waist up. We have that in the Zoom. Most people don't have it. Then soon coming, what you've going to create a Spanish Zoom where we can have Spanish people on the thing. So environment, people, environment. Then the next is information. It says inform. So what are you putting in? See, a lot of people struggle because they're not putting anything. The one thing I say here at the Price Group, every day, we have some type of conference call. We have something that's promoting you growing as a person, being in the last thing, and then life experiences. How many people can you get on the phone with that make $100K a day? I mean, I'm going to speak it into your life. $100K a day. I'm going to speak about $100K a month. How many people can you do that? That's the difference here with this. You can find insurance. Insurance is insurance. But you can't find the Price Group. You can't find the things that we have because we let our imagination go. And that's what happens with most people. They don't imagine winning. They stop looking at themselves as the winner. I have a thing that says start with the end in mind. Who is the person at the end that you see yourself as, and then work yourself start from here and work yourself back to that person. That's why most people can't get it. They stop imagining. They stop living that person in their head because you're where you're at right now. And all of us, even at $100K a month, even at what I make a month, we're only where we're at because that's the only place we saw ourselves. When we start seeing ourselves greater and we start going after that and put ourselves in an environment of people that's winning, it changes. I remember calling my mom, saying, hey, Mom, you know what? I'm going to leave education. If God rest her soul, I'm going to leave education. She says, okay, baby, what you going to do? I said, I'm going to do insurance. She says, well, how much you going to make? I said, Mom, it's a little different. I'm going to get paid commission. Commission, what's that, baby? My mom's was older. I said, well, I don't get paid unless I do work. She said, baby, have you lost your mind? You on drugs or something? You got a wife, you got kids. But see, I thought about it that moment. Why am I calling someone who's never been where I'm trying to go? And that's what a lot of people are here doing. They're searching. They're going to call their friend that's in the insurance industry that's never had success. And then they'll make a judgment off of that. Yep. Why not pick the phone and call somebody who's winning? Like here at the Price Group. I mean, just a little plug for the Price Group and what we're doing.
I love it. I mean, you're right. You're so right. And I'm definitely guilty of that, right? In my life where it's like, I wanted to make a decision and I'm looking for these people to co-sign my decisions, right? Or co-sign my lack of belief. and I'm talking to people that they're not doing anything with their lives. And what I did is I have built a very strong circle, and I do have a lot of successful business owners in different industries that we're real tight. We go diving together, and we're on the boat, and like everyone's a business owner, right? And all you hear is, man, that's amazing, great job, you're killing it,
Right.
crushing it. Like everyone, like there's no one like, oh, that sounds like a scam, right? You don't get those people. You get
Create an
people,
environment.
yeah, you get a lot of good people, man. And so and I fight, right? So I fight to get more people. Like how do I get a billionaire in my circle now, right?
Wow.
And if I was walking and I seen a billionaire and I knew he was a billionaire, like I would walk like you're trying to pick up. I know neither of us are single, right? But back in those days, when you see a really pretty girl, you're like,
Right.
let me get her phone number. Now it's like, oh, that's a billionaire. I need his phone number.
Absolutely.
And reach out and start talking to him. And I want to know what he knows. Like, how did he do that, right?
Makes sense.
So let's go back. Let's go back to, so you're a teacher, right? Obviously, your lifestyle was a lot different than it is now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you're a teacher. Back to the humble beginning. What does a teacher make?
30,000 or something
A year.
Yeah, like matter of fact, when we started in education, when I started, it was 32,000.
So we're doing better monthly now than we were, right? At yearly.
Yes,
So
yes,
that must feel
absolutely, yes.
good.
Definitely.
But what I really want to press on is you're an overachiever, right? You're always taking things to the next level. You're getting uncomfortable. You work, right? That's what I like about you. A lot of times I talk to people, they want to do all these amazing, great things, but they forget the work part, right? Nothing's free.
Absolutely.
Like I said, everyone's making $100,000 a month. You just need to go and get it. And that going to get it is the work that you need to do. But you went from being a teacher to being an assistant principal to being a principal, right? So again, in education, that's a pretty fast pace to being the top guy. So tell me about that and how you accomplished that.
Well, it really, a lot of the success was just, again, it goes back to business principles. Caring about people. You care about the students. You want to find the best in them, making sure they're successful. Then when you get into administrative role, it's caring about your teachers, not being this dictator type situation. Because if you learn to care about your people and give your people what they need, success comes. You're only as great as the people that surround you. You show me greatness in a person, I'll show you great support systems. And that's what makes it great in education. And so I just spend a lot of time focusing on the students, not me, because I understood a quote, you give enough people what they want, you'll get what you want. And so my thing was take care of the students. Then when I moved to administration, take care of the teachers, making sure they're okay, putting the donuts on the table, putting the coffee out there, letting them, teacher have a situation, caring about their children, caring about their life. And then that's what helps you get promoted. That's what helps you move up in any situation of business. And so that was my path of going up, just really caring about people. And a lot of it came from personal development, reading different books. Again, I talked about information. Inform. What are you reading? What are you putting in your brain? What's formulating what you do? It's a thing that I have the whole team listen to all the time. It's called The Stranger's Secret by Earl Nightingale. And he talks about a part of the thing talks about it's like your mind is like an empty field. Whatever you plant in it will grow. So even if you plant negativity grows. But if you plant positivity grows. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people. I spent more time positive things, finding the positive things in people instead of saying the negative. Because we all have negative things. But I spent more time warning the children, man, you're great. You can be great. Your education doesn't determine you. It doesn't really matter because, see, this is what I learned a long time ago. Most of the people that own the companies were C students. It's never the A/B students. A/B students follow direction. Nothing against any A/B students out there.
I'm a C student. Don't worry.
So
on a good day,
and that's the thing. And so the C students had to find a way to win. So they went overboard. They found ways. They started things, and that's what we look for. Those people who have that thing inside of them that they're looking for, and that's what I just did in education. Just trying to find the best in every student, regardless of where they were at. Is every day leave somebody better than I met them at.
That's it, man. Leave some better than you found them, right? That's I used to say that to the client all the time. I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna go over this information with you. My job is make sure when I leave here, you're better off than when I came.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just have more information about being more prepared if you pass away.
That's it.
Hopefully, it's gonna be with a policy that's gonna protect your loved ones, but at the very least, you're gonna get some information that's gonna help you.
Right.
I'm loving this so far. I mean, I always love talking to you. I love jumping on Zooms with you. I remember the first Zoom. I remember you were really quiet at first,
Right.
right? You're an observer, right? Because you already know the secret, right? When you're talking, I'm learning about you, but when you're listening, you get to learn about me. And I know you're trying to learn about me when we met, so you're quiet. And then I remember your first Zoom. I was like, oh man, this guy talks. This guy. Yeah, you do a great job, man. So you went from teaching to be insurance. So like, what was your introduction to insurance? Because as you're saying that, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I need to find more teachers. Like, I need to find some people that, because I mean, you're a coach. That's what it comes down to. Like, you're a coach. You know how to get the best out of people. You let people know that you care about them, right? And that's super strong because again, that increases their belief level. I had my most success with people that know me for a long time because they know me. Right. A lot of people they're fake, right? A lot of people get
That's true.
they get really disappointed. So when they get a chance to know you, then like, man, you know what? Donaldo's right. Nothing he's told me ever has been wrong. I should do what he says because it doesn't make sense not to. Right. And then once they start doing that, then they start having this success. Right. The belief level.
It goes to the next level. It's experiences. I think the thing, man, one of the things when we I found the power of belief. I think the thing that helped me, I started writing my goals down. We hear that all the time. Write your goals down. Write what you want down. No, no problem, and I'll get to it. And I remember when this gentleman introduced me to it, I said, man, that stuff is not real. Man, I can keep my goals in my head. Then the guy said, what did you eat 3 weeks ago? I didn't know. He said, but I thought you keep everything in your head. But it's even a scripture that says, write the vision and make it plain so that who sees it will run. That even if it tarries, meaning if it takes a long time, his word cannot come back void. So what I started doing was I started writing everything down. And I will read it every day. Because here's the truth. How do we learn songs? Repetition. So why don't we do the same thing? I tell when I'm recruiting people, I said, you ever file taxes? They say, yes. I said, okay, let me ask you a question. So if you were sitting in front of the tax guy and the tax guy said, hey, David, listen, man, you're going to get $30,000 back. How does that make you feel?
I'd be happy.
You'll get excited, right?
Yeah.
But why did you get excited?
Because $30,000 I didn't know I had.
Okay, but do you have the 30,000?
Not yet, no.
So why did you get excited? Because you know it's on the way, right?
I believe it's coming.
Right. Can you imagine your goals taking the same thing? If you wrote your goals down and got excited about it,
right?
The word says, write the vision, make it plain so that who sees it will run. So if you got excited when you wrote your goals down and celebrated it right then and there, then it's already done. It says the word, it can't come back void.
Right.
So I get excited about things. Like I see all of this progression in the organization and I try to get people to see it and oh no, I'm not going to write it down. And just last week on one of our Zooms, young lady was going from doing 0. She was struggling. She's like, I was getting leads and it just wasn't happening. I said, did you write your goals down? But yeah, Mr. Harris, I'm making the phone calls. I said, no. You can't have success if you don't give it somewhere to go. She writes her goals down and the next week it produces over $6,000. She says, man, because I started believing. I wrote it. I kept saying it over and over. See, the truth about goals is all you're doing is giving it a destination to go and bring it back. That's why I remember you telling a story. What was it, 100? When you was trying to recruit 100 agents, that you wrote it down everywhere. You had it as your password. You had it everywhere. See, the more you see something, it's really using our 5 senses. The more I see my goals, the more I believe it. The more I hear my goals, I start to believe it. Because really, we've been lying to ourselves all our lives, right? Yeah, I look at me like I'm sexy. But that's an opinion. It's the opinion you make of yourself. If you write the goal and totally believe it, I mean, you knew the Price Group would be here one day. You knew it. You wrote the vision plenty of times. See, you talked about it. Once you write it, Now here come that 1 to 10%. See, you can write and believe all you want to, but then that's when the action come in the physical part. That's how it happens, ladies and gentlemen. Something starts in your mind first, then it becomes into physical form. How was the iPhone? They had to build it in their mind first. Once it's built in the mind, then it comes into the physical form. Right. Most people are not successful because they're not believing they can do it. They don't say, man, I'm going to make 10 grand this month and believe it and say it and say it and say it. The actions has to follow. Absolutely. Now, you can write it, but there ain't no actions behind it. It don't matter. But if you already know you made 10 grand, have you ever noticed how people work differently? Yeah. How people, you have this person in the business that's like this. And that's what happened when we came over. It's crazy. It was so amazing that we had people who were struggling. We're struggling. And then they go to start making depositing $4, $5, $6, $7, $8,000. One of our top earners, wasn't even doing nothing, was okay at our previous company. Goes to deposit over 29 plus thousand in a bank account in 1 month.
You want to say her name?
No.
No?
She'll tell it, I'm sure. Uh-huh. I'll just say Rachel. I'll just say Rachel. Yeah, I mean, went from just being average. Yeah. And then in 1 month, not even being here with the price group. Matter of fact, that was the third full month over here. Deposit 20, because we have a system of belief. We believe anything that we speak is going to come into existence. Anything that we say, it has to come. And we're going to keep talking about it. Well, Mr. Harris, what if it don't happen this month? I don't get upset because I know he never says when you write the vision, make it plain, when it's supposed to happen or how it's supposed to happen. He just tells you it's going to happen. So you just got to keep doing the work. You got to keep doing the work. So probably this month, we'll do $1 million. But I'm sure your projection was probably months past this. And that's what's going to happen, man. We're going to crush it. So, I mean, I tell people all the time, if somebody calls me about the opportunity, now, if you just want to be average, stay where you're at. Not being funny. Yeah. But if you want to win, this is the soul. Because a lot of you are a good seed. Mm-hmm. I tell people this all. You might be the perfect seed, but you're planting in the wrong soil. Right. Can you imagine me taking an orange seed and taking it in the wintertime and put it in Minnesota? Right. And thinking it's going to grow? Is anything wrong with the seed? No, it's the soil. So a lot of you are out here struggling. Things are not happening for you. I'm just saying, maybe your soul is wrong. There's nothing wrong with you as the person. Right. You just need to come into a place that can cultivate who you are to make you grow. And that's what we've been doing, man. We've been winning all day over here.
Yeah, you guys are amazing with it, man. And I love what you're saying about goals. But yeah, like I remember when my goal was to hire 100 people a month, and I wrote that everywhere, and it was my Wi-Fi password. My girl would ask me a question. She'd be like, hey, you think we should go to Georgia? I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to hire 100 people a month. After I figure this out, we can talk about anything else you want to talk about. Every time she asks me a question, for her. But yeah, now we do it on autopilot. We've done that most of the year now. I mean, once we hit it, we haven't not done it.
Once you set it in your head.
Dude, I was so obsessed. So
you're obsessed. Power belief, right?
Yeah,
you believed it.
I was going there.
Nobody's told you. Nobody could tell you.
Everyone's laughing at me. My assistant knew his assistant. I was like, hey, we're going to hire 100 people a month. She looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, how many do you last month? I'm like 30. She's like, we're going to do 100? Yeah. Yeah, so let's get to it.
Did you get somebody around you that was different? Was your environment conducive? People believed you that your environment, you start listening to different people? You changed your environment, right?
Yeah, I just there was there was no one that could tell me anything different. Like this was the goal. This is our destination. We're going there. It's just a matter of doing what it takes to get there. That's it. We just have to do whatever it takes. And if we don't know what it takes, we're gonna figure it out with work. And that's it. We're just gonna figure it out.
Again, power belief, people, environment, information, and life experience. You can't believe anything you've never experienced.
Right.
The reason why I can believe 100K. Because you told me, I can touch you, I can talk to you. And you do it through words, images, and emotions. When you write a goal, if you don't have any emotions with it, if it doesn't make you emotional, then that's not the right goal.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, if it doesn't make you emotional, you're just saying it.
You're just saying it.
There's no thought. You know what I mean? Like there's no thought to it.
Yeah. And that's what happens. There's no emotions to that situation. So it's back to words. I'm writing it down everywhere I go. images. I post it up everywhere I go, and I have emotions with it.
Absolutely, man. So you're crushing it. Your team's crushing it. So you became a teacher. You started working with Lincoln Heritage, amazing company.
Right.
I'm sure you learned a ton
Oh,
there.
absolutely, man. Made me taught me a lot about the insurance profession.
What was it like going from a salary to like those first days as an insurance
It was
agent?
tough. It was tough because at that time we lived in Florida. We lived in Florida, and man, it's again, it's about believing in who you are. I remember looking at the opportunity, and me and my wife talked about it, and I said, "Man, I see something." I said, "But as the man of the household, it was hard to make that decision to pull a salary out the house with a wife and 3 kids, then an older daughter, and older son. It's like that's a lot." But luckily, God sent me an angel when He sent my wife, because she basically said, "No, I don't want you to have regrets." And so when I moved to Mississippi, man, I went in. But I'm gonna tell you now, a couple times I packed my car to be like, "Man, you've lost your freaking mind." But again, it goes back, and I'm learning it more and more now today. Because even when that hard time hit, I was able to look at someone else's life experience that was making it. And I said, man, the God's no respecter person. If He can do it for them, He can do it for me. It's just some information I need to learn. And I just kept going, and I kept going. And then my belief even came stronger. If anybody can do it, and I had to work longer hours sometimes. See, that's the big part with most people. They think, oh man, this other person's having success, but you don't know the backstory, where they came from. Man, David's making 100,000, but are you counting when David wasn't making 100,000, maybe getting gas money from somebody else, working 23 hours, sleeping an hour? Now you're seeing the finished product, but it's the part in between. Me driving the houses, and man, you go in there and you see these friendly little critters going all around the place. You see things. You look in a trailer, and the things, the bottom of the trailer, you're looking at the ground. But it started there.
Yep.
But you just keep going because you know it's possible. You know it's possible. You know it's possible. So many people quit right there, but you're right here at the wall of success. And so many people quit right here when really 2 more steps, 2 more presentations, 2 more times, 2 more phone calls, 2 more this, and your life could ever be changed. And that's what I just kept doing. I just kept going, man. I kept going, and I just kept going and going. And then it happened. It happened. And so that's what it is. You got to put the work in.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, dude, it was I went from making some pretty good money to what the heck am I doing? But I knew it was the journey.
Yes.
Like okay, cool. The beginning part's a little rough, right? The road wasn't paved yet. You know, we got some bumps, and maybe I'm not in the exact the vehicle going through it. But as you get further and further down that road, but the problem is everyone stops.
Yes.
Right? Or they start backtracking. Like,
Yeah.
they start backtracking and said, you just got to drive forward.
But do they backtrack on life? See, that's the thing. I talk to people all the time. I say, you've been living 30 years.
Yeah.
Do you have the life that you want now? So why is it you've been on earth 30 years and you don't have, but you want to come over here and in 30 days you want the lifestyle change?
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. But if you see other people winning and you plug into them, it's like a bullet train going 1,000 miles per hour going north. If you just grab or hold it, how fast you think you're going to go? 1,000 miles. And that's what the price group system does. It's a system that people are winning constantly. I get on you all the time about, David, man, your success is so strong. You have a lot of people making successful money, big money. You don't talk about it, but I that's what I watch, because that was a key ingredient to me.
Yeah.
That I wanted to make sure, okay, is David having success? That sounds good. You know, I see so many leaders, they're having success and nobody else is having success. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to be a part of that, because that means nobody winning but that person.
Right.
But when I looked at the price group, that was not true. I saw a lot of people winning. I saw a lot of people having success. And that's the difference. You know, you can go join somewhere, bigger contract. Oh man, take the big contract and go run off, but you have no support.
Right.
You don't have no systems. You have none of that. And that's what we have. Big difference.
It's funny. I started on an 80% contract. 80%, you know, they didn't know what I was doing, but I wasn't even worried about that. It was just, is there leads? Are there people to see? And I was focused on learning more than anything else. So you're at Lincoln, doing great over there. I mean, I believe it was $5 million in production you did the year before you left.
Yeah, it was
About
over
5
5
million, over
million.
$5
Yes,
million dollars in production, which
yes.
is an amazing year, and especially in final expense, one carrier. So obviously there was some fear going from being a teacher to selling insurance.
Yeah.
So how did that compare? Decided to go from Lincoln to come and working with me.
There was a lot of fear.
Was it transition? Because a teacher you're giving up $30,000 a year. Lincoln you're giving up $400,000 a year. Was it with the same fear or was it more?
Um, you know the truth, it wasn't more so the fear of, for a second, I will say that. It was a second of finances. But I think what outweighed it more, the fear of not going to save my family. See, I can win all day, but who am I saving? Because I have a goal in life to always say, how many times is my name written in somebody's story when I leave this earth? Because that's the greatest of all. His name is still being said years and years after he's left. Because the truth, how many people have you helped? So at that moment when I made the decision, first it was like, yeah, I'm gonna just be honest up here. Yeah, man. I told my wife, I said, listen, you might have to cut back on shopping. You might have to cut back on all these things. But the greatest part is I had a great support system. She looked at me and she says, no, we have to save our family. We have to do something different. And that's what I tell all of my family. People say, oh, an insurance profession. I said, let me ask you a question. The job you work now, did you grow up as a kid want to do that? Or did you do it because it paid the bills?
Right.
And so people say, well, I don't like sales. I said, the job you work, did you know how to do that as a kid? No, I said, you had to learn it, right? I say, again, it's a matter of your mindset. If you have the mind to want to win, you'll learn what you need to learn. You didn't know how to be a dad. You didn't learn how to be a mom. You thought you did until that first night of crying, that baby, but then it changed. And that's what success is, man. It was a hard decision, but I think the fear was more so that if I don't make this move, if something ever happens to me, I'll leave my daughter in a bad situation. If something happens to me, yeah, we financially are doing well, but it's the people that I love are not doing well. So I was willing to give up me to go to greater heights to save other people. And see, when life talks about, when you give up you and you go save other people, again, you'll get everything you desire and not miss a beat at all. Didn't have to live, and I'm gonna just be open. No pay through when I came over here, nothing. Everything was shut off. But I made the move on a truth of saving my child and saving my family. And once I did that, life never missed a beat.
So your wife's absolutely amazing. Your support system is amazing because, like you said, that's such a big part. I know I've definitely lost some good agents, because of their support system was, say, jacked up. They weren't supportive of their decisions, and it's people I've seen greatness in them, and I was like, man, this person's going to be great, but they couldn't do it with their support system. So big props to your wife and your support system.
Can I say something about that?
Of course.
I think when most people fail in that part, they have a dream, but they never visualize the dream to their spouses.
That's the problem.
See, I could say all day that I'm going to make this move, but if I don't share the vision with my wife and give her something that she can have, like even with the kids, it's like what we'll do, we'll say, okay, daddy's going after this goal. See, I include the whole family. That if you allow daddy this time to get this goal, what do you want? And I think that's what happened with most. It's nothing wrong. Your spouse doesn't understand. Your spouse grew up in a household that their parents worked all the time. They were used to hourly working. So now you're talking about, oh, you're going out here and selling insurance, commission-based? They don't believe in that. But if you shared your vision and said, hey, husband, wife, man, if you give me 90 days to 180 days to do this, now if I'm able to, you allow me to do this, what do you want to return? Oh, you want a free cruise? You want this, you want that? Now it has something for that spouse.
Now you're a team.
Now you're a team, because now they're going to encourage you because they want their vacation. Yep. Whether it's, okay, I want to spend time with you for a whole week. They have something. The kids have something. I remember my kids say, Dad, hey, you watching TV? No, turn the TV off. We want our goals. You can't get to our goals. And I think that's what happened with most people. Yeah. They don't involve their family. We'll sit around the table for dumb crap, but we won't sit around the table for the future.
Right.
And I think that's what ends up happening.
Yeah, I remember I sat my girl down and I was like, listen, this next year, I need this year. I'm gonna be working a ton. No beach days for me, no vacations. But after that, we're gonna be to do whatever we want.
Giving up something
That's it.
to get somewhere.
Yeah, our life will be changed forever. That's what I told her, So that worked for her and we made it happen, right? And it was super uncomfortable. And 6 months in, I was like, man, did I make the right decision?
Get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Got better. Yeah.
It's just a matter of you're gonna stay uncomfortable for 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years. People on the 40-40 plan.
Yeah.
40 years to retire and then live off 40%?
Yeah.
Nah. This is it right here. I can promise you, this is it.
Well, I appreciate you coming out here, man. I said working with you has definitely been an honor and a pleasure. I love it because I get to learn so much from you and your team and the amazing things that we're doing. And just 4 months in, right? That's the best part.
Man.
Just 4 months in,
Just
with not
4
even
months.
scratching the surface. 6 months, year, 2 years, 4 years. I mean, the vision
is crazy.
It just keeps turning up every day.
Yes.
It's like what we're gonna accomplish, what we're gonna do. I know we got some big things we're gonna plan for next year. Make sure next year is just epic. First off, if somebody sees this and they wanna find you, what's the best way to find you?
DonaldoHarris.com.
DonaldoHarris.
DonaldoHarris.com.
DonaldoHarris.com. So if you're interested in working with Donaldo, he's an amazing mentor to agency owners as well as agents. So definitely reach out to him, have a conversation with him. You could hear all the knowledge that he has. Anything else you want to say before we get rolling?
Man, listen, this is what I'll say to anybody who's looking for a home, looking for a place. This is it, man. This is it. It's not just about insurance. It's about the people you surround yourself around. It's really about the people. Because the biggest thing why most people fail is self-confidence. They don't have any self-confidence in themselves. And that's what we can do. That's what we can do as an organization, Powerhouse, but also the Price Group, man, give you that. And if you're looking for a place to definitely win, this is where it's at. This is where it's at, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the future, totally. Totally about the future.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you. If you see something that you like, please hit the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, put some stuff in the comments. If you got any questions for Donaldo or myself, put that in the comments. Here's been another episode of Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things with David Price.